Welcome to Syd and Malcolm, and I'm Malcolm, and that's Syd. Hey, say hello, Syd.
Greetings and salutations.
And we're on malcolmpresents.com. So,
Yes, we are.
and we're looking for the 1,517,000 viewer.
That would be close to what we've reached out to. I've been on programs, by the way. I was 50 million viewers when I was interviewed by Dan Rather.
Well,
in 2000, and you're not much different. And then I was at 18 million viewers when I was interviewed by Brian Williams.
Well, you see, the thing is, which makes us unique, is they have a limited audience because they only could do what the network is in the US. Our audience, goes worldwide. So it's unlimited.
Very good point.
So now I don't know, did you speak any foreign languages?
German.
So if you introduce the show and
you can speak Deutsch. Nicht a bisschen, but Deutsch is mein erstes Ding. That was the first language that I learned. I learned English when my parents learned English, around when I was in kindergarten, first grade. And I have been deficient in language ever since.
Well, if you say, or your family is perfect pitch, that's
that was my son. My son Ryan was born with perfect pitch. That's a gift.
But he inherited it from someone.
Yeah,
it must be Diane.
Someone in the family. Though my wife will say that she was always told to hum, never to sing. But we are a musical family. We all love music. I was brought up singing at the dinner table after a big meal. We would sit and sing Jewish songs, Yiddish songs, Hebrew songs, English songs. That was part of our life.
Well, I remember. Wait, I want to look at that. Yeah, I remember. What we didn't sing, well, I didn't sing. My family, when my mother and father got together with their relatives, they sang Yiddish songs.
Right.
And I didn't understand a word they said.
See, that's sad because it's interesting to have a different perspective because your brain doesn't even separate it. Like I had not spoken German in 50 years, maybe more, and my daughter got a position in Berlin. And I flew over there to help her get an apartment and settle in. And within 2-3 days, the language came right back to me. So it's interesting that it is always in the recesses, even if you don't use it.
Yeah, well, my kids, my two boys, they were, the nanny or their nanny was their grandmother who spoke Spanish. So basically they're bilingual.
Right.
And my big thing, which I regret, is that though I've been married almost 27 years, and my wife is Latina from El Salvador, I don't speak Spanish. I don't have an ear. And when the two boys are in the kitchen, when the family's home and the two boys are in the kitchen with my mother-in-law and Anna, and they're speaking Spanish, I'm sort of left outside. It's like I'm in a foreign country.
One of my children actually has my oldest grandson, Haley, in an immersion school where he is learning Spanish. He just finished first grade. The entire first grade was in Spanish.
Spanish?
And he's learned to speak Spanish. They live in Santa Clara, and she thought that Spanish would be a great immersion for him. And he is becoming bilingual. And by second grade, by the end of second grade, he'll be speaking fluently.
I have not a job for you, but a goal for you to reach. I know they have the cell phones where if someone can speak in English and it's translated to Spanish, or you could speak in. See if you could invent something like an earpiece that you could put in that translates automatically. So if I'm speaking to you in English and I say speak in Spanish, that the other person has it in their ear and it'll be automatically translated into Spanish. And when they speak Spanish to me, would automatically be translated to English.
Well, there is something close to that called Google Language, and I've used it where it will translate what I say into Spanish.
What about, see if you can get into an earpiece that you could
Well, you
use.
know what? I think that with the AirPods they have now, you might be able to look it up somewhere. I'm pretty sure Google, if anyone would have it, Google would have
Well, if you ever have a spare moment, and I doubt you do,
it.
if you could work on that, because then you could translate it to any language of the world. It's
Well-
like it's like, a Star Trek. That they have they speak universal languages, and that's what they probably do.
Yeah. My day today was an interesting, busy day. I'll tell you about it. Early this morning, I got up and I went to temple. I got there at 7 a.m. and I prayed till 7:25. I did the morning minyan. And then I started right on my route, picking up my foods. And I got to Costco, and they had about 100 pounds of meat and prepared foods, which we picked up, and another 50 pounds of pastries. From there, I went to the bagelery, a shop in town. I picked up 30 pounds of day-old bagels. I then went to a appetizing store, picked up 10 pounds of different types of baked goods, bagels, salt sticks, bialys, and then I finally went to Panera and I picked up 50 to 60 pounds of day-old bread. We then put it all out in our driveway, and my wife and I and my wife's sisters visiting from Washington set up the whole drive. Then we left at 9 o'clock to go to Trader Joe's, where we picked up 1,500 pounds of food.
Wow.
And then went right back to our driveway. We put it all out. And by around 10:15, a lot of our veterans started coming, picked it all up. We had left maybe 700 pounds. And we brought that to the community center. Got home, had a little breakfast, late breakfast around 11:45, then went right to the beach. And went to the beach until about 2:45. And came home to prepare for you. And along the way, I just got a phone call from Costco. They have about 400 pounds of rice that they want to donate. I called up our community center to see what time they're closing. They won't be closing till 6. So I'll be leaving here, going to Costco, picking up the rice, bringing it to the community center. Then going to my wife's mother, who lives about a half hour in Rockaway, pick her up, then pick my wife up and her sister at the beach, who I left there, then come home, have dinner, have a drink, smoke a joint, and relax.
I mean, you do relax?
Not, well, I'm relaxed right now. Whatever I do, I feel relaxed doing.
Well, is this a normal amount of tonnage that you pick up, the poundage that you pick up on an average day?
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, that is an average.
Wow.
On the other days, I don't get Trader Joe's. So it's somewhere between 500 and 1,000 pounds, the other 3 days of the week.
Oh, by the way, if they give away rice, have them supply brown rice. At least it has protein. The white rice is empty calories.
We take whatever they.
Now, I know I'm joking.
Well, I can't tell sometimes.
Well,
I'll answer every question as it's asked, and then I'll think if it's a joke or not. I'd rather answer it.
Well, it reminds me of one day I was this is about 10, 15 years ago. I was driving in Santa Monica, and we got McDonald's, and I'm eating McDonald's, and for whatever reason, I had enough, and there was a hamburger on a bun ready, to give away. So I passed the guy, he was a homeless on the street, asking for money. And I said, well, I don't have any extra money, but here's a hamburger that's fresh. And he looks at me and says, sorry, I don't eat meat.
Yeah. Look, we had a woman come over to us. We were, I think, in the Upper West Side, and a woman came over and says, "I'm very hungry, but I only take money." It is what it is.
Yeah.
We did not give her any.
Yeah.
We do keep, I keep in the car anywhere from 5 to 10 bottles of Poland Spring water,
Yeah.
and I give that out. So if I see someone that asks me for anything, I'll give them water, because that's the one thing they never have enough of. They all are dehydrated.
Well, I know in New York, when I used to travel the subway, sometimes it looks like a homeless person, it wasn't as much, but a homeless person would come, or a person who wasn't homeless, but they say, "Oh, I have to, I lost my change and I have to take the subway." So what I would do is I would say, "Okay, follow me." I put the coin in this, the token in the subway thing, and say, "Go." And that would always surprise them.
You know what? Everyone has an angle. One of the bad things that have happened during the pandemic is that a lot of people are first time impoverished.
Yeah.
And there is a culture of the street that people know the angles. People know where to go for food, what places are open, what days, what times of the days, and also how to work social services. And these are things that are skill sets that are developed when you have to think on your feet, when you don't have additional funds coming in. And people that are not programmed for that, or first time, on unemployment. Some of the things that are so bad of our system, and I love a lot of parts of our system. The SNAP program, the supplemental nutrition food that's available on these pass cards. Well, what is not on those pass cards are feminine products. So if you need a tampon or a pad and you're a woman and you have a SNAP card, you can't pay for it with supplemental nutrition. And this is a bugaboo which I've had since the 30 plus years that I've been dealing with fighting poverty. It should have been changed years ago.
Yeah.
And we have other things that are very, very similar. People don't know how to shop nutritiously. And if given a choice, they would rather go to a fast food restaurant than have to deal with food from the SNAP program. And that is part of the culture of poverty, where there is huge amounts of unnutritious things that people eat. A lot of them don't know how to prepare meals. One of the problems that I have when people are given raw product, how many of these people don't have the facilities to cook what you give them?
Especially the homeless.
It's like, it's an oxymoron. You're homeless, no refrigerator,
No kitchen.
no kitchen. And this is where, people's heads have gone. And, so these are some of the things that we've dealt with over the years. One of the things that we do, and I really never spoke about this, one of the reasons why we're so involved in getting assets to agencies that fight poverty is the corollary to what we're doing, which is, if I give you as an agency food that you in the past inherently have paid for, I have now saved you real dollars that what I would like to see you do is possibly hire tutors for kids that are there after school, social workers, hire job training and skills. So the money that I'm saving you in the aggregate should be used to reduce poverty levels. And that is one of the elegant things of Rock and Wrap It Up. By giving you these assets, I'm hoping that you're going to use the funds that I'm saving you to follow the Rock and Wrap It Up pattern of reducing poverty, so that the next year you won't be impoverished, or possibly the next generation won't be as impoverished. But it still comes down to, there is 10% of our country that'll always be impoverished because Our country's just not set up for 100% inclusion. Never was set up that way to start with.
But what percentage of our population is impoverished at this moment? Do you know
About
that?
10%.
Just about 10.
Yeah, so about 33 million Americans, I would say, are at risk. And I would say the majority of them have some means of support of getting to live the next day. When we had our soup kitchen, I would tell people, our job is not to cure them. Our job is to make so that they come back tomorrow and haven't starved to death.
Yeah, they're there tomorrow, yeah.
I can't control why they're impoverished. And these are some of the conversations. We would have a training class for new volunteers, because the new volunteers would have fabulous passion. They would want to go in there and change the world and make everyone better. And I would smack them basically with words and say, no, you're there to feed them so they come back tomorrow. And if you get involved in their heads, you will lose and they will lose, because they'll have ideas that you somehow could solve their issues, and you can't. It's taken years for them to get to a point that they have to walk into a pantry, soup kitchen, or shelter. And that's not something that you could do overnight. Yeah. And as much as you want to, be part of the solution, that's not what we do as Rock and Wrap It Up.
But it seems like a lot of the people that I've heard, or the people that I talk to, who are street people or impoverished, what they're looking for a lot is someone to listen to them, not necessarily to solve their problem, but to listen to their problem. What they tell me is nobody sees them.
I can't listen to them. I'm too busy feeding the next one. If we started at the Cloud Inn Soup Kitchen with 100 people. By the end of our first year, we were feeding 400 people a day. Yeah, when you're feeding 400 people a day, your job is to feed them and let the next one come in, feed them and let the next one come in.
Right.
And let the social service agencies be their soundboard.
Right.
People that can give them wisdom that we don't have, experiences we don't have. We're not social workers. We're there to guide them. So the more money that we save agencies, the more services they could steer people to help them in the long term.
But do they?
Don't know. I don't follow up.
Because I know you reminded me of when they do corporate tax breaks. Right. And they say, okay, the corporations are going to save money, and it's going to be, but the old thing, trickle down economy, and it's going to get to the workers, where they're going to reduce prices. And what happens, the majority of the time, from my understanding, the extra money goes to bonuses for the executives, for the CEOs, for the the chairmen.
Well, that I haven't heard, but what I have seen is that you want to have an agency that is very well run, because what I call the concrete internet is the fastest way of getting to people on the street. The concrete internet, they say good news travels fast, but bad news travels faster. Mm-hmm. Well, if somebody has, let's say that my soup kitchen got a delivery of hamburger from the USDA, which did happen on occasion. Sure. And I had over 4,000 pounds of hamburger meat. The concrete internet, as people walked home and said, hey, the Cloud Inn Soup Kitchen got in hamburger meat today, they would come down. They'd meet somebody else, they'd come down. And that works, because that is the informal, formal communication of the street. People tend to tell people if there is a success going on. And that's how I have found places that are well run get more people that will come to them. Just like there are shelters out there that nobody wants to go to because word got out on the street I got rolled when I was
Yeah.
sleeping. Someone robbed me.
Yeah.
I got ripped off. Well, if they hear of a shelter that has security guards or has a policeman nearby and people could sleep in peace and safety, that place gets inundated and gets overrun because everybody wants to go there.
Yeah. Well, a problem I find with especially government-run type of organizations, the head of the organization is not necessarily the best person to run the organization. They got it for many other reasons, whether it's contributing to candidates, whether it's they know their brother, whether it's their brother-in-law. So there's a lot of there's corruption, but inefficiency based on the fact that they don't promote from within to the person that's most capable of doing it.
Well, there's an agency out there that I've worked with, America's Second Harvest. Second Harvest has been around under different alliterations for the last 30 years, as long as we are. Their turnover rate of the CEO is every year and a half.
Mhm.
And again, a lot of it is they go into a situation that they really didn't know what they were getting involved with. And you have to be cut out for one thing. There's an old Greek play around Sisyphus. Sisyphus was a giant, and he would roll up a boulder up a mountain. And what would happen? The boulder would roll back down again. And he did this every day. I'm Sisyphus, but I'm already set up in my head to know that's going to happen because I can't cure this, but I could sure put my shoulder in there and feed people.
Right.
And I got to feed them again the next day.
Right. Speaking of that, with just changing the subject, a little bit, I understand that you had a significant a week or so where you were honored with different organizations.
Well, that was very humbling. I got a call about a week and a half ago that town of Hempstead was having a salute to veterans. Actually, just to go back, one of the things that has bothered me is that there are organizations out there that get a ton of funding and they only handle a small part of the problem. So Second Harvest is an organization that represents Food Bank as a political organization and as a tactical organization. There are over 400 food banks that are not part of America's Second Harvest. So they have to get their food on their own, which they do. But America's Second Harvest is not their answer. Rock and Wrap It Up has never gotten a dime from America's Second Harvest or from any federal organization. We do our own fundraising, so we don't answer to anybody. So we're able to do our job under our mission and not answer to a soul. I answer to God and I answer to the people that are on the line outside waiting for food.
Do you solicit funds at all? I mean, like like PBS does?
No, we do fundraisers. We send out letters. I get grants from companies that we work with. Our biggest donor has been the New York Football Giants over the years. Last 4 years ago, we got a grant from Delaware North, a large grant. This year, we got from ABC, Disney, Netflix, Time, Warner Communications. Each one gave us $10,000. And again, we work with them, so we're one of their charities that do food recovery for them.
But you don't go to the general public to solicit funds?
No.
Would you accept funds from the general public?
Yes.
Do you have a website that they could go to in case they're watching it and they decide
we have been blessed. Rockandrapitup.org has a PayPal button. They could call up 1-877-691-FOOD, give us a credit card number. If they want to send a check, they could send it to Rock and Wrap It Up, 405 Ocean Point Avenue, Cedarhurst, New York. And that's how we've been getting funding over the years. And we have a very small budget, under $100,000, which has been pretty minuscule but we're able to do our jobs.
Mhm.
Most of
Yeah.
my people are volunteers.
I'm going to talk to someone at your organization to see if we can get those links up to malcolmpresents.com.
That would be fabulous.
So when they go there, they can just punch you in and donate.
I was really glad to hear that you spoke to Pat Alicia. He's very excited.
Oh yeah, I spoke to Pat yesterday, and we're going to start a show mid-July. I think like on Fridays, but I think it's like July 16th. Basically, about the American Legion, what it's all about, what it does, and what we will be doing. He'll be my co-host with me, and we will get to the various posts around the country. He said
Yep.
each post does something different and does some
Absolutely. There's someone to learn from. Every post is doing things that we could all learn from. And there has never been, there's American Legion in Indiana, in Indianapolis, that sends out a magazine each month.
Yeah, and also another one that I'm trying to get a hold of, who might be interested in doing a show, is Reverend Fletcher Harper.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Did you do anything with Amy Riley yet?
Yeah, we're doing Amy. In fact, Amy just sent me something. She's not going to be able to do a show this Friday, but no, it's called Eat Something Sexy.
Oh, that's the best.
And we have 2 shows. This is her website, and Amy has her master's of her MA in gastronomy from the Cordon Bleu, and her specialty is aphrodisiac cooking.
And she's great at it.
And she's a fun lady. I mean, I like her. She's not deadpan serious. She has a sense of humor.
Great. She also does a monthly posting, Aphrodisiac of the Month.
Right, and she had her second show we had this week, and she had a friend of hers, Annette Tomei, who basically does the same thing she does, but with spirits. I mean, alcohol. So she was doing some sort of a drink with watermelon and cucumber and rum. I said, forget about the cucumber and watermelon, just give me the rum.
Well, I am going to have to get going, Malcolm.
No, well, you have 57 seconds left.
Oh, we did pretty well.
Yeah. But the one thing I wanted to talk about just a minute about what I like to do with Reverend Harper is I like to talk about God, but sometimes I think people have what they want is God to help them. And the whole thing is, from what I go from Judaism and from what I know about the other religions, we're supposed to help God.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be at the service of God, not God to be the service of us. And I think people do that wrong a lot. Anyway, I will let you go.
Thank you, sir. I think this was great. Oh, by the way, Todd Kaminsky called and they want to set up a show.
Oh, good. And otherwise, we'll be back with either you and I or another guest next Tuesday.
Awesome.
Okay. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.